Let's take a moment in child's pose to arrive. So come down to your knees, bring your feet together to touch at the rear of your mat. Separate your knees as wide as it is comfortable for you to let your pelvis drop down to your feet. And then place your arms wherever you like. If you need, take a moment to shift around, like turning the head, massaging the forehead against the earth. Literally grounding here. As you turn your attention from what's around you and perhaps the to-do list of the day into what's happening in your body right now. How is your body breathing? How are you feeling emotionally and energetically? And then slowly take a deep breath and let the sitting bones draw further back and down. Stretch the crown of the head further forward. Open the mouth and take a big sigh. Even deeper breath if you can. Fill up the side ribs, sides of your torso. And see if you can relax something in the body you might be holding tension in. Open the mouth and let it go. One more time, deep breath in. This time, fill up and hold at the top for a few seconds. And then through the mouth, slowly release it. And then bring your hands to the outsides of your knees, tuck your chin to your chest. And with a slow in-breath, roll your spine upright, lifting one vertebra at a time so that you can sit any way that's comfortable for you. So we had our conversation on Zoom on Saturday. Thank you for those of you that joined us. There was something that someone said that was inspiring, and if you're not aware, the talk was about anti-racism and things that we can do to promote social justice. One of the women that joined us is a mom, and she's married to an African American. She's Latina. And so she said that prior to the recent events and the rise of, or the strengthened movement of anti-racism, she had long been teaching her children, a teenager and a young boy, how to survive as Black, brown children, how to survive and how to be safe and hopefully succeed in a racist society. And through this rise of Black Lives Matter and just people being more conscious and even doing self-checks of their biases, she's now changed her talks with her children to something more empowering and teaching them how to strive for more and to envision a world that they are successful and we're all equally treated. So it was inspiring, it moved me and got me to thinking, how do we limit ourselves in our beliefs? We talk a lot about beliefs in yoga and the constant chatter of the mind. In the desires or the goals or the visions that we have for ourselves and our worlds. And as we see other people rise with courage and speaking their truth, and that can be inspiring for us to expand the possibilities and remember that they are infinite. When we remember our true nature, as yoga philosophy states, is pure consciousness. And with pure consciousness, it's unlimited expansion. So today's the first day of summer in our calendar year. And whatever day or moment you decide to perhaps renew your goals or start a new beginning, or I invite you to think of, what do you want to write in your next chapter of 2020? We've been through a lot so far, but here we are. Perhaps a little stronger, perhaps a little more resilient. So that new empowerment, what do you see for yourself in the next season, half a year, or longer ahead. I was listening to a talk by Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is a doctor of chiropractor, but he does research on neuroscience and quantum physics, among other things. He was featured in What the Bleak Do You Know, and a recent film called The People versus the State of Illusion. And he talks a lot about how we can naturally change our brains and change our bodies through thoughts, through consistent thought. And he was talking about how most of us run on the brains being wired from the past and just regurgitating the past in our daily routines and actions and thoughts. But when we step into the seat of consciousness that we do much in meditation or mindfulness activities like yoga, then we have the ability to say, hey, I want to change this, and envision the future. And the more that we put our mind into the future and even rehearse it mentally, what we want that future to look like, whatever you might want to change within your body or your life, we allow the body to feel it, not only through emotions, but sensations, and we strengthen that, we rewire the brain, and we create the path for it to exist, to manifest. Here's an interesting card that I literally randomly pulled out of my box of cards today. This is Nature's Whispers. And the random card was Shift Your Energy. So I want to end on what that card says. It says, clear your energy, the energy of those around you, and the energy of your environment. Winds of change are blowing into your awareness. In order to prepare for what is ahead, begin a process of renewal. This process might include clearing away the old that no longer has a purpose in your life. It also might mean changing old habits and patterns that you are ready to release. An example might be actively avoiding overly sugary foods if you're trying to eliminate excessive sugar from your diet. View this as a time of shedding that can be achieved with ease and grace. So let's put mind and body in sync with focus and inspired action. Join your hands together and take a moment to set an intention, perhaps not only for this hour of yoga practice, but for what lies ahead for you. Clarifying a vision. And we're going to begin with an energizing, heating breath, activating inner fire. We've been practicing this quite a bit recently, Bastrika, or bellows breath. So I'm going to watch the clock for 1 minute before we start. If you're new to it, I'll quickly demonstrate. We begin with the elbows bent at the sides, the hands are fists, sitting tall like a straight spine, shoulders relaxed. And then we'll take a deep breath using the diaphragm so you fully expand the belly and raise the arms up. Then as you exhale through the nose, the elbows come back down. It's deep, equal inhales and exhales like this. All right, so let's prepare. Do what you can. Sit up tall and relax, bend the elbows apart, and you might close the eyes, steady the gaze between the eyebrows. Let's begin for 1 minute. Halfway there. Last breath in and let it go. Release the hands. Close your eyes a moment. feeling the vibrancy of your energetic body. Start to cultivate Ujjayi Pranayama, where you close the lips, softly narrow the back of the throat, and engage in a soft whisper as you breathe evenly and deeply through the nose. So as you listen to that breath, let's begin for a seated twist. Extend your left leg forward. Step the right foot either in front of your right hip or cross it outside the left knee. Maybe bend the left knee. And then place your right hand behind your pelvis on the ground as you raise the left arm. Press into the ground, even with your right foot, and lift up through the center of your spine. Draw the shoulders down. And at your waistline, exhale, turn the chest to face the right. Lower your left arm either onto your shin or hook the elbow outside of your thigh. Press down to your left and right sitting bones and lift up through the center of your spine with each inhalation. Hollow the belly as you exhale. Keeping the pelvis still, rotate the ribcage like a globe, the earth spinning on the axis of your spine. As you broaden the chest, slightly lift your heart and press the shoulder blades down your back. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. At the end of this exhale, unwind. Let's just go right to the other side. Straightening the right leg forward. Try to set up the same way you just did. So either left foot in front of the hip or outside the right knee, maybe bending the right knee. Place the left hand behind your pelvis. Raise the right arm up. Press down with your sitting bones and left foot. Breathe in, stretch the spine upright. Breathe out, isolate the twist at your waistline, and then lower your right arm. Hold your shin or hook your elbow outside your thigh. Firming down into the earth, rebound a lift through each vertebra of your spine up to your crown. And as you exhale, press the belly gently towards the spine and continue to rotate the globe that is your rib cage. Softening the shoulder heads down, lengthen through the sides of your neck. Let's take a couple last breaths. So this song that's playing right now by White Sun chants the Sanskrit word Satnam, which literally means true self. Feel free to sing along. And on an exhale, unwind. And let's come down onto all fours, hands and knees. So stacking your shoulders right on top of the wrist, point the index fingers forward parallel to each other, spread the thumbs flat. Knees directly under hips. Now lifting the lower belly, extend your heart forward and lengthen your neck. Keeping your 2 hips as leveled as possible. Breathe in and straighten the right leg off the ground behind you, flexing the foot. Turning the right outer hip towards the ground, spin the inner right thigh slightly towards the ceiling, and lengthen your tailbone back towards your inner right heel as you firm that heel back. Lift the lower belly and start to lift the left arm forward, which you could opt to keep the hand down if you want to just have the right leg in motion. We're about to move. If you have the left arm lifted, lift the upper arm alongside the ear and draw the left shoulder blade back so both shoulders are equidistant from your ears. Take another breath in. Now exhale, round your back and bend the right knee towards your nose or bend left elbow, right knee to touch. Re-extend both as you inhale. Keep lifting the lower belly, balancing the hips. Exhale, round again. Now with the right hand, keep going at your own pace of breath. 3 more breaths. With the right hand, feel as you spread your fingers, you're rebounding your weight off the floor so you're not collapsing stress into your wrists. You're springing weight off the ground so even your right shoulder feels a little lighter, a bit spacious. So finish the next exhale, rounding the spine, contracting the belly. Then re-extend the right leg, lower the toes on the floor, set the left hand down, wrists under shoulder, and spin the right heel to the earth, coming into a modified side plank. Now keeping the left knee on the ground, raise the right arm up to the sky. Feel again a rebound off the floor through the left hand this time, and reach up through the right fingertips. Get taller and taller through the right arm with each breath. And continue to lengthen the tailbone towards your inner right heel. Feel the front ribs seal in towards the back of your body, and the shoulders draw away from your neck. Take another breath here. Now, put your weight on your right foot, lessen the weight on your left knee, and slide your left shin behind you. So now it's perpendicular to your mat. Step the right foot out to your right, so it's on the outer left edge of the mat. You're drawing an arc with the right toes, and flip your belly to face the sky. You're now in a back bend, a supported tripod back bend. Now as you lift the chest, feel offer support for your neck, or just let the head hang back. Reach the right hand towards the front of the mat. Take a deep in breath, spreading both collarbones wide. Slow out breath. Now we're going to continue going in the same direction, so start to lower your pelvis onto the ground. It's going to fall off the mat outside the left edge of the mat, and you'll be facing the rear of your mat. Now bringing the sole of your left foot onto your inner right thigh. We're rewiring the brain here out of habit. So left hand rises, right fingertips on the ground beside right hip. Flex the right foot, breathe in, ground the pelvis. Twist to your right and fold outside of your right leg. So you might catch hold of your outer right foot. You might press the left hand outside the right leg. Ground the left side of your pelvis. Lengthen forward through the sternum. And keep bowing in for just 2 more breaths here in this twisted version of Janu Shirshasana. Flexing the right foot, engaging the front muscle of the right thigh. Now draw the navel in, lead with the chest, and breathe in to rise. Backstroke your left arm, landing the hand on the mat. And come back to all fours, hands and knees. All right. Draw the navel in, gaze forward. Inhale, raise the left leg straight behind you, flex the foot. Perhaps you raise the right arm forward, upper arm alongside the ear, both shoulders even. Keep lifting the navel. Remember, you could always set the right hand on the ground. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract the belly and round. Elbow and knee touch if you're using both. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, contract from the belly and round. 3 more cycles of breath. Follow your own pace. Nice and slow, controlled, mindful movements. Feel your left hand springing your weight off the floor rather than totally absorbing the weight. Finish this last contraction of the belly, rounding the spine. Then re-extend the left leg, lower the toes on the mat, set the right hand down, wrists under shoulder, spin the left heel to the ground and raise the left arm to stack your 2 wrists in one line. Modified Vashisthasana. Now with each in breath, spring your weight off the floor to the right hand and get taller to the left fingertips. Exhaling, stay, hug the front ribs towards the back. Draw the tailbone towards the inner left heel. Soften the shoulders away from the neck. 2 more deep breaths. Deep inhale. Now put more weight on your left foot so that you can slide the right shin behind you so that it's perpendicular to your mat. Draw an arc with your left toes behind you, landing the foot outside the right edge of your mat, and then flip your belly to face the sky. Either hold on to your head behind it or reach the left arm overhead. And lift the heart space, breathe through it. Open up the front of your right shoulder here as you draw both shoulder blades down the back. It's a heart opening back bend. Modified tripod back bend. Take another deep breath. Then slowly lower your pelvis. Continue the same direction we were going in, so you'll land outside your mat. Bringing the sole of the right foot on the inside of your left thigh. Flex your left foot. Place your left hand on the floor outside your left hip and raise the right arm. Press through the sitting bones, breathe in, lift the spine tall. Breathe out, twist to your left, and begin to fold diagonally outside of your left leg. Now you could use your right hand to press against your left outer leg or to hold on to the outer foot. Especially ground through the right sitting bone as you extend your heart space forward. lengthening the spine as you fold. 2 more breaths. And revolve Janu Shirshasana. Leading with the chest. Breathe in, lift the spine, backstroke the right arm. Plant your 2 hands towards the top of your mat and let's meet in downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths there, you might like to pedal your feet or shift around, or simply be still. As you hold Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog, for a few more breaths, find the most space you can create throughout your spine. As you spread your fingers flat, eliminating stress on your wrists, lift the shoulders back and rotate the triceps towards the ground. Hanging the head, relax the neck, lift your hips. Your thigh bones back. Draw the belly towards the back. Let's take 2 more breaths. Those of you looking for a lower back stretch, downward facing dog is really good for that. And you could also come down to your knees and take a half version of downward facing dog where the torso remains the same and the knees are on the floor right under the hips. Let's take a vinyasa from here. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose and pause for about 3 breaths. Stacking your shoulders right above the wrists. Knees can be on the ground if you want to modify. Keep lifting the navel, looking forward, and maintaining a long line throughout your spine. Exhale, shift forward, hug the elbows to your side ribs and lower all the way down. Press down through the tops of your feet. Inhale to cobra. Hug the elbows close to your sides and broaden your chest. Press down to your hands, tuck your toes, engage your belly to help lift up to your version of plank. Then lift the hips to downward dog, walking the hands back towards your feet in a forward fold. Bend the knees a lot, reach your hands behind your lower back to clasp or grab a strap. Shift your weight towards the balls of your feet and inhale, lift the chest, looking towards the tip of your nose. Knees as bent as you need to eliminate tension in the back as you fold. Even deeper, let the head fall. Stretch the arms forward. Elbows slightly bent as you lift the shoulders up away from your neck. Maybe shake the head a little bit if that feels good. Just a couple more breaths here. Then release the hands. See that your feet are parallel, hips width apart. Then bend your knees, keep your thighs hips width apart, and come into modified chair. Arms forward for a moment. Draw the shoulder heads back and down. Shift your shin bones back so weight is more on your heels. And then anchor the tailbone downward as you hug the bottom of your front ribs in. Lift the chest and wrap the triceps forward as you begin to lift the arms towards overhead. Just the amount that allows the shoulders to relax for 3 more breaths. Building some fire here. Shedding whatever old stuff needs to be shed to create space for the new. Press down to your feet. And with an exhale, rise all the way to stand, hands together at your hearts. Let's step up to the top of your mat, feet touch. With your feet together this time, bend your knees. Maybe graze the floor with your fingertips. Inhale to chair pose. Starting a flow. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Step into your version of plank or float into chaturanga if that's part of your practice, lowering on your own. Breathe into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, we'll meet in downward facing. Start with the feet hips width apart and inhale, raise the right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the right knee towards your nose, rounding to step the foot forward just inside the right hand. Come into a high lunge. Feet are hips width apart, parallel. Energetically drag the feet towards each other to create stability as you inhale to rise. Crescent pose. Bending the back knee, lengthen the tailbone downward. Lift the frontal hip bone slightly upward. Then draw the shoulder blades down as you lift up through the crown. Take another breath in. Bring the arms down by your sides and lean forward just to a diagonal. Long line from top of the head to left heel. Feel the lift of your lower belly, lift of the sideways. Scissoring the right hip back, hug it in towards your midline. Look beyond the front edge of your mat. Now, arms can stay down by your sides, but if you are looking for more rigor in the back muscles, extend the arms overhead and just keep them there as we lean into Warrior 3. You have the option of lowering the hands on the ground ahead of you into Modified Warrior 3. Also, you could bend the right knee. Flex the left foot as you lean into it here, squaring the hips like we did in that little flow in the beginning on hands and knees. Extend the chest forward. Take another deep breath. Now, as you bend the right knee, lower the left foot all the way back to align right heel to arch of left foot. Cartwheel the arms into Warrior 2. Now feel the left leg slightly turned inward to face the front of your mat. Straighten it and bend the front knee just over the heel. Turning out the right leg, wrap the sitting bone underneath your body and feel the alignment of your upright pelvis. Tall spine, extend through the arms and relax the shoulders, gazing past your right hand. Let's take a full cycle of breath. Warrior 2. As you press down through both feet, engage the fronts of your thighs and straighten your right leg for reverse triangle pose. Lift up through the sides of your waist, flip the right palm up, and sideways lean towards the rear of your mat. Softening the shoulders down the back, drawing the navel towards the spine. Feel the lengthening of your right side body as you focus on breathing into that area. Deep inhale. Exhale, land your two hands on the mat in plank pose and lower into your vinyasa or cat-cow. Breathing in, lifting the chest. Exhale to downward facing dog. Start with your feet hips width apart. Then inhale, raise the left leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee towards your nose, stepping forward into a high lunge. Feet are hips width apart, parallel. Energize your legs and slowly rise up to stand in crescent pose. By bending the right knee, draw the tailbone downward, containing your center as you slightly lift the frontal hip bones. Lifting through the sideways, the arms, the fingertips, soften downward through the shoulders, downward through the tailbone, downward through the feet. One more breath in crescent lunge. Now you could keep the arms overhead if you're looking for more rigor in the back muscles, or bring the arms down by your sides. Those of you that have lower back stiffness, bring the arms down. So lean forward to a diagonal. Scissor the left hip back and hug it in towards your midline. Lift the center of the lower belly. Gaze ahead of the front of your mat. Either reach for the floor as we come into Warrior 3, or extend the arms back or forward. Any variation, flex the right foot as you come into it. Parallel your right leg and spine to the floor as you square your hips towards the ground. Strong through that lifted leg, take another deep breath in Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Bending the left knee, cartwheel the arms, and land into Warrior 2, stepping the right foot back. So in this wide stance, where your feet are pretty much right under your wrists, align your left heel to the arch of your right foot. Turn your right leg slightly inward to face the front of your mat as you bend the front knee, facing the front of the mat. Left outer hip wraps under, pelvis upright, spine tall, shoulders relaxed, steady eyes past the left hand. One more breath. Root down through both feet and straighten the left leg. Lift through the sides of the torso, then flip the left palm up and sweep it overhead towards the rear of your mat. Reverse triangle pose. Breathe into the left side of your torso. Deep inhale there. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor and lower into your choice of vinyasa. You can change it up if you like by holding plank. Rest, of course, whenever needed. We'll meet in downward facing dog for 3 to 5 breaths this time. Feel how you are directing your breath with intention, and how that impacts your ability to direct your body with intention. Bend the knees, look forward at the end of your exhalation, step or float to the top of your mat. Feet touching. Inhale, rise to lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold in, knees touching. Inhale, sink your hips, chair pose. Exhale to rise up. Let's flow through that same sequence this time. One breath, each posture in moving meditation. Here we go. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step or float to lower into your vinyasa. Breathing in to lift the chest. Breathing out, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, knee to nose, step it forward to a high lunge. Inhale, rise to crescent pose. Exhale, lean forward to hover diagonally. Inhale, shift forward into warrior three. Stay here as you exhale and lengthen into a horizontal line. Inhale, cartwheel the hands and come into warrior two. Straighten the legs. Exhale, reverse triangle pose. Lower both hands. Inhale into plank pose. Then exhale, take your choice. Lower, flow, or no flow. Back to downward facing. Second side. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, knee to nose, step it forward, high lunge. Inhale, rise to crescent pose. Exhale, lean forward to a diagonal. Inhale, shift forward into warrior three. Flexing the foot, stay here as you exhale to lengthen. Cartwheel the arms and inhale, land warrior two. Straighten the legs, exhale, reverse triangle. Cartwheel the hands, inhale into plank. Exhale, you choose lower, flow, or no flow. In downward dog, let's meet for 3 to 5 breaths. Feel the balance of taking it all in and letting go of what you don't need. Constant purification through the breath. Now with bent knees, look forward. Bottom of the exhalation, lightly land at the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's add a twist and chair, so bend your knees together, join your hands together, and keep your hips low. Breathe in and lengthen your spine. Heart stays higher than the hips. Exhale, let your waistline start to turn your chest to the right. Keep your 2 knees in one line facing forward. Breathe in, maybe sink the hips lower. Exhale, continue to twist. Maybe use the leverage of left arm against right thigh. Now, if you're aiming for an arm balance, you could set your 2 hands off the right edge of your mat, come into revolve crow. That's your choice. Whatever you're choosing, commit to the steadiness, balance of your breath. 3 more breaths. Coming back to center and chair, breathe and raise the arms up. Rise up as you exhale, mountain pose. Pausing in mountain, take a deep breath in, spread your toes on the earth. Exhale through the mouth. Close the lips. Bend your knees together. Inhale back to chair pose. Breathing through the nose. Join the hands and exhale, start to twist at your waistline to the left. Keeping your heart higher than your hips. Even if you sink the hips lower, you might add the leverage of the right arm against left leg. You might move into revolved crow pose, an arm balance, placing the hands outside the left edge of your mat. Whatever your variation, How are you maintaining the posture that holds your truth today with integrity, especially in the breath? 3 more. Back through chair. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to rise up. Inhale, sweep the space around you, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, chest forward. Step right into full plank here with the feet touching. Stack the shoulders right on top of the wrists. Spread the fingers wide. Gaze past your hands, lengthen the neck. Stabilize the shoulder blades across the back ribs. Now look at your right side and roll onto the outside edge of your left foot. Flex the feet. One way to modify, if you don't want to do the same modification we did earlier, is to step the right foot in front of you, right off the right edge of the mat, and press the floor away with it, like a kickstand. Or flex both feet stacked, hover the right foot. That will add some challenge if you want it. You could bend the right knee, come into tree, right foot into inner left leg. You could catch hold of your right big toe and perhaps extend the right leg towards the sky. Whatever your variation, integrity, alignment, space. Last 3 breaths if you're still here. And when you're ready, make your way through plank, vinyasa if you choose, cat-cow or child's pose, or straight to downward facing. Breathe in. Breathe out. Before we take the second side, inhale, raise the right leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot inside of, right hand, warrior 1. Spin the back heel down, feet hips width apart, so hips are facing forward, then rise up to stand. Now feel that your pelvis is upright and the 2 hips are equally facing forward. If not, adjust your feet so that you feel solid in both. Weight is even on both. And then bring the hands behind you, clasping or holding a strap for devotional or humble warrior. Hugging the elbows close together, breathe in and lift your heart. Stay here, or exhale, start to bow forward, either resting onto your front thigh or onto the inside of it. Continue to scissor your right hip back and firmly ground to your left foot. Let the head go if you're bowing. It's a nice chance to release tension along the neck and the tops of the shoulders. As you lift the arms forward, lift the shoulders away from the neck. Let's take 3 more breaths. Now pressing down through both feet, inhale to rise up. Back to warrior 1, extend the arms overhead. Find the full length of your spine upright. Then bend the elbows apart like a cactus shape. Cross the right elbow over the left. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms and press the shoulder blades down the back. Lifting the elbows to the height of the shoulders. Press the forearms gently away from your face and steady your breath. Feel the aliveness of your center right below your belly button as you engage that area. Now you can keep 2 feet here in warrior 1 or begin to balance in eagle pose by shifting your weight forward and wrapping the left leg over the right, either flexing the foot as you bend both knees like chair, or tuck the left toes behind the right calf and scissor the left hip back to re-square the hips forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Now we're going to land in warrior 1 again, so you can take your time getting there. Perhaps you stay in eagle. Like I mentioned on Saturday, the symbol of vision, for a few more breaths. symbol of clear vision and deeper knowing. So you decide how you let that ego fly and step back eventually to Warrior One. Take a breath in Virabhadrasana 1. With an exhale, let's meet in full plank. Feet touching, legs straight, gaze forward, shoulders right above wrists. Look to your left and roll onto the outside edge of your right foot flexed. If you'd like a different way to modify, step the left foot right in front of you on the left edge of your mat, like a kickstand on a bike. Otherwise, stacking both feet, flex them both. Maybe hover the left foot if you want to challenge your balance more. Maybe bend the left knee and turn out the left leg into tree. Or come into hand to big toe pose. Left leg straight up, clasping the big toe. Now, whatever you choose, commit to your breath, steady focus. Whatever the fullest expression of the posture you chose is. Let's take a couple last breaths here. Then very slowly come back through plank, optional vinyasa, optional rest. Whatever you choose will eventually meet in downward facing. Deep inhales. Might be a good time to cool off with lion's breath. Or flutter the lips a few times and feel relaxation in your jaw and face. So I invite us now to choose an inversion, a heating inversion of your choice. So whether it's staying in downward dog and then resting in child's pose a few times, or dolphin pose or headstand. Some of you might like to practice tripod headstand or handstand with or without a wall. So whatever is appropriate for your level of practice and how you're feeling today. Let's practice that for about 2 minutes. Those of you that want to take dolphin pose, I'll walk you through the first round. Come down to your hands and knees if you're taking dolphin. Then set your elbows on the floor exactly under your shoulders. Either parallel your forearms so the palms are face down flat, or interlace your fingers, rooting the outer wrist into the floor. Tuck your toes and lift the hips up. Then see if you can walk the feet forward. Now you're in dolphin. For 5 or so breaths before you rest in child's pose. One way to change it up is to step the feet together and raise one leg straight up, holding a few breaths. Then maybe the next round you do the opposite. Flex the lifted foot. Keep the shoulders right above the elbows or behind the elbows. And then take your rest whenever you're ready. So you've got about more than a minute left for whatever heated inversion you're practicing. We'll eventually meet in child's pose. Take your time if you're still upside down. You've got a few more seconds. If you are in child's pose, you might like to take a side stretch and reach the arms both to the right for a few breaths outside of the mat, and then to the other side. So from child's pose, if you've rested at least for a few breaths, roll yourself up to sit for a moment and decide which hip opening posture you'd like to practice. Either upright single pigeon or lying on your back supine single pigeon, also called thread the needle, where you cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So if you're on your back, do both on your back. And if you are coming into upright version, start in downward dog or on hands and knees. And let's begin by sliding the right shin across your mat in front of your pelvis. As you sit down to straighten the left leg behind you, place your hands outside your hips for a moment so that you can lift the pelvis, tuck the back toes, and actively scissor the right hip back, the left hip forward. Then you'll know if there's a space between the right glute and the floor to put something in that space so that you keep the alignment of squaring your hips. Now, there are different ways to practice the upright single pigeon. If you want to offer a back bend to your left shoulder and a quadricep stretch for your left thigh, you could bend the left knee, lean your weight forward so your knee's not bearing the weight, and then backstroke the left arm to catch hold of your left ankle or foot. Now, if you grab the inside, the big toe side, that can offer more opening into the front of the left shoulder. You can play with balance, raise the right arm forward, clasp the hands overhead. If you're not practicing that, you could also fold forward and take the more restorative version of the pose, where you also have the option of twisting, opening up the upper back, and the other thread the needle. If you're going into the twist, you could crawl your right fingertips towards the upper right corner of your mat, bend the right elbow towards the sky, then thread your left arm with a palm face up underneath your right elbow, resting the left side of your head either on a prop or on the floor. So whatever version of opening the right side of your hips, we'll be here for one more minute of deep, conscious breathing. Now, if you're lying on your back, make sure that the ankle that's crossed on top, you're flexing that foot in order to stabilize the knee. And you're splaying the thigh open, the thigh that's on top. Shoulders and head are relaxed. Observe the quality of the breath at this point of your practice. And how are you continuing to build intention through the breath? As you finish this exhalation, begin to change sides. So if you're on your back, you might want to circle the legs out a bit. If you're coming up through downward dog or all fours, you might want to shake out the right leg a bit, just to help increase blood flow into that hip joint and lubricate the hip joint. And then as you're ready for second side, if you're coming into upright pigeon, cross the left shin in front of your pelvis on the mat as you sit down with the right leg straight back. Tuck the right toes and place your hands alongside your hips for just a moment to lift the pelvis and scissor left hip back, right hip forward. You might decide to place something under your left glute. Then try to explore the same variation you did on the first side. Whether you're backstroking the right arm to catch hold of the inner ankle or foot, maybe adding a back bend, or you're folding forward for more the restorative version, or adding a twist, left fingertips towards upper left corner of the mat, elbow bent to up, right arm threading under left bent to elbow, palm face up, and the right side of the head on the ground or on a prop. So we've got another minute and 15 seconds on the side. If you are folding forward in the upright single pigeon, relax your back toes. Deep inhales. Cleansing exhales. Last breath here. Gradually make your way back into that counter movement you did on the first side. If you're lying on your back, either flip over onto your belly or rock forward. And let's come down onto our bellies, taking the last couple of back bends. We're going to come into Shalabhasana locust pose, which is great for strengthening the lower back, among other things. So bring the legs close together so that your knees are no wider than hips width apart. Point your toes back and feel every toenail on the floor. Anchor your pubic bone onto the earth and lengthen the tailbone towards your heels. And bring the arms down by your sides with the palms face down. Now on the in-breath, just lift your chest so the head gently follows. Keep the hands on the floor, keep the feet on the floor, and keep the pelvis heavy on the ground. Now keep breathing here and slide the shoulder blades down your back. Without cranking the neck, look slightly down, and then begin to press the heels back, keeping the feet parallel, the thighs parallel. Lift the legs, then lift the arms, taking 3 to 5 more deep breaths here. Focus on stretching the legs actively behind you. You're trying to create length in the lower back. And then right under the shoulder blades is where you're contracting mostly to lift the chest. Softening the shoulders down. Maybe airplane wings with the arms, maybe the arms forward if you want more rigor in the back muscles. And then when you decide to come down, turn your head to one side and pigeon toe your feet to rest for 3 deep belly breaths. Massaging the abdomen against the floor. Now on this next round, we're going to start with the hands clasped behind your back. Legs are the same. Press through the feet first and coil your chest up, lifting the head. Stretch the knuckles of your hands towards your feet. Now hold here for 5 more breaths or so, or bend the knees, no wider than hips width apart, and catch hold of your outer feet, kicking the legs towards straight as you pull the feet into bow pose. Deep breaths, fill up the heart space, lengthen the tailbone back towards the space between the knees. Relax the jaw, relax the eyes, shoulders down the back. Feel the power of your legs, especially if you're holding your feet. And when you decide to let it go, turn your head to the other side or make a pillow out of your forearms. And this time you might rock the hips side to side or windshield wiper the shins together left and right. Bringing more release into your lower back. 3 more breaths into the belly, out through the mouth. Now let's roll over onto the back from here. Bending your right knee into your chest, preparing for a supine spinal twist. Straighten the left leg forward on the ground and scoot your pelvis a little closer to the right edge of your mat. Slide your right arm wide out to the right so the shoulder is on the ground, and begin to cross your right leg over your body to the left. Turning your head to the right, see that your right shoulder remains rooted. Now, if you're looking for a stretch into your IT band, you could straighten the right leg as it's crossed over and sickle the right foot, turning the sole to press towards the earth, while drawing your right outer hip away from your torso and towards your left foot. Let's take about 3 more breaths. As we're cooling down here, you might focus on the out breaths, lengthening the exhalations, slower than the inhalations, and perhaps breathing out more through the mouth, releasing heat. then as you're ready, unravel back to center, straightening the right leg onto the floor, and bend your left knee into your chest. Slide your pelvis a little closer to the left edge of your mat, and open the left arm wide, pressing the shoulder down as you twist to your right side. Turning the head to the left. Now, if you're looking for that IT band stretch, you could straighten the left leg that's crossed over and sickle your left foot. Turn the sole towards the earth, while drawing your left outer hip forward. That's away from your torso and towards your right foot. Let's take about 3 more long exhalations. Spinal twists are great for helping to decompress the spine, cleansing the deeper that you go for the digestive organs, stimulating flow within the body. As well as awakening the energy center of the solar plexus area, Manipura, associated with strength of will, assertiveness towards life goals. Now let's roll back to center and just take 1 more minute in your choice of cooling down pose or movement. Whether you want to come into shoulder stand, if that's normally part of your practice, or lifting the legs in any way to help relax the nervous system. Happy baby. You might even sit up and come into a forward fold. That's cooling. So 1 last minute, your choice. Oh, it's our favorite waterfall song. So as you lie down to rest, closing your eyes, releasing effort in your body, release effort in your breath. Let's take a few minutes in Shavasana. Now, as you continue to lie still and breathe naturally, I offer these last 2 minutes for meditation. Otherwise, you could stay in Shavasana for that time. If you are going to join meditation, gradually begin to lift your body upright to sit comfortably and tall. And if you don't have a way to meditate that you've chosen yet today, I invite you to envision what your intention might be. Choose a specific one for what lies ahead for you this year. Is it having a pain-free body? Is it enjoying abundance financially to feel secure and to enjoy that trip or whatever it is? And really be in that state through mind, through how you feel in emotion and physically. So let's take 2 minutes. Allow a deep inhale to stretch your lungs, expand your heart space, and clear it out through the mouth. If you're still lying down, gently begin to rise up. Join us in a comfortable seat. Sealing the palms to meet at your heart as you lift your heart and bow in to greet it. Acknowledging the power to create that is within you, as within each other. Notice what you have created already in this hour. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.